Welcome to another episode of the Zebra Influencer Series. I'm your host, Scott Reyes. And on today's episode, we have a very special guest coming to us. He is the sales director at Newcastle Systems. And in his role today, he helps customers identify where and how there's process improvements can be made in the warehouse operation using barcode technology, as well as automatic identification and data capture, or AIDC. Kevin comes to us with over 30 years of experience in the AIDC industry. And Kevin has an MBA degree from University of Hartford and a bachelor's degree from Bryant University. Let's welcome Kevin to the virtual stage. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, Scott. How are you today?
Doing well, sir. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining us on the call today. And we'd like to kind of jump in, and maybe you can tell the audience a little bit about yourself, or maybe something that they can't read on the LinkedIn page.
Okay. Let's see. Milestone moment last week, I turned 60. So you said I've been in AIDC for 30 years, so that's true. But I have two grandsons that were super psyched to be a part of their lives growing up, and hopefully it'd be interesting to see what scanning looks like when they're older, like me. But it's been a great career. I've been affiliated with Zebra for a long time, which it's really cool to see where they started and where they are now and where they're headed. But I've been director of sales here for a long time. Got a great team. We partner well with Zebra, and just appreciate the opportunity to share our story today.
Yes, sir. And congratulations on the milestone. Kind of just jumping into it, could you give us a brief overview of what Newcastle does today, and where you guys are looking to grow?
Sure. So, I mean, everyone knows Zebra devices, printers and scanners. And what we do is we manufacture mobile-powered carts, workstations, a lot of different names for these things. But we manufacture these north of Boston, about 40 miles, and we manufacture battery systems, and we sort of combine the two. And what people use these for is in warehouses and factories, really to transport Zebra devices that are typically static, and they move them in the wireless facility where they need to do work, where they need to print labels and apply them.
Excellent. So how are you guys, to your point, barcoding and printing, how are you guys continue to innovate in the verticals that you guys are supporting today?
Yeah, I mean, our verticals are industrial. I mean, that's why we partnered with Zebra years ago. You guys are so strong in that space with rugged devices. You take a typical warehouse person in 3PLs or retail or wholesale distribution. And for years, the story's been labor. We can't get labor, so we're looking to automate. And we're sort of like I call us a hybrid automation. As far as I can see, people are still needing to print labels. And we sort of bridge the gap between nothing and full automation. So we work well with Zebra because our carts or workstations, whatever you want to call them, they're pretty much useless without devices. And the customers need your technology paired with ours to add the mobility to it. I think innovating going forward, they're going to have labor problems. They're going to want more automation. We're going to have to morph into, I think, something that maybe takes away some of the weight, makes it simpler, adds more analytics maybe for labor so managers can get data. We have an app that can track workflows. I think more and more people are going to want to start measuring things. Lean Six Sigma is getting bigger and bigger in warehousing. It's been huge in factories for years, but the warehouse has been slow to adopt that. And I think, it'd be interesting to see the future of how we sort of work next to you guys on the dock. And that's really where we play. It's receiving and shipping and then some picking. But our world is receiving and shipping product. And I'm curious to see how you guys add new technology like fetch robotics, and then how we sort of integrate with that, going forward.
Thank you for that, Kevin. Yes, I agree with you. I think one of the major things that our customers tell us about is their labor shortage issues today, but also how to make those resources that they currently have today more efficient. And so, working with Newcastle and Zebra, I think that you can help them find a way. But in talking about robotics, you just mentioned, can you expand maybe a little bit about your strategy for expansion in those verticals or in other verticals? Like, what's your strategy to expand from where you guys are today?
Well, I mean, obviously adding products, we are, for the most part, batteries and wheels, and we combine them. Some people don't need wheels. Some people just want power. But we're going to morph into probably in the industrial space. I don't see us getting too far from that. And Scott, really just adding tools to these people to make them more efficient. I think that's why they come to us. They come to us to reduce motion, but I can see us becoming more involved in ergonomics. The workforce is getting older. It's hard work. They're looking for lighter options. They're looking for smarter options. I think we need to add more value to the customer, and that might just be partnering together on the perfect solution, right? So, and then we're looking at growing our channel. I mean, we're a channel focused company. We're growing Europe. We're growing Latin America. We're growing Asia Pacific. All barcode people for the most part, because that's ultimately what people want from us. They want printing and scanning and WMS and ERP. They just want it on wheels.
That's excellent. Yeah, and as you guys know, you're fully aware, Kevin. Zebra is a channel-centric organization, so that fits really well with what we do. And maybe the audience, you can help the audience understand, how do you interact? How does Newcastle interact today with our devices? Like, where does our devices
Mm-hmm.
go in your car?
Yeah, typically there's almost about 90% of the time there's a printer, right? They're printing a label. Sometimes it's a small form factor printer. Sometimes it's high volume printing. And we don't really compete with a mobile printer per se because the volume's too high. They're printing high volume typically. And there's always a scanner. It's usually ruggedized. We're also getting into retail store applications now. So the devices are not quite as industrial, but they still need power, right? So a lot of the Zebra devices have an internal battery, like a handheld computer. Um, but some people, they'll use a handheld computer and just a big printer, and they'll put it on wheels because they want like this mobile printing on steroids, I call it, and which is a really cool application. It's real simple. You just pair the printer and go. So when people do that, they get really efficient. And outside of that, I like the Workstation Connect as something that we can do better with, because a lot of people struggle with returns, and a cart can't really get you through all the places you need to get to in returns departments because it's just such a mess, to be honest with you. So Workstation
Right.
Connect is great because you can take the device, you can sort of climb to where you have to get to, scan, enter data, then come back, put it back into a cradle, and you got full screen. So really just combining our systems together is a lot of fun for us to help make the customers more efficient.
Excellent. And then I was going to ask you about your expansion in some of the verticals, but you mentioned retail. Is that
Mm.
an expansion vertical for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, we've been in retail distribution for a long time, but customers are coming to us now to try to satisfy the need for impatient customers, right? People don't want to wait in line. So they're looking at this mobile POS option. So you're in a store, you're waiting, they're telling us that they're losing money when people will just put down their whatever they got in their hands and walk out. So those
Right.
fixed cash registers, or whatever you want to call them, are only used mostly during peak season. I just learned this recently. So they're looking at freeing up that space in a store and getting more mobile so they can check people out a lot faster and just, retain the customer, because, people are fickle today and they just don't want their time wasted.
Oh, that's awesome to understand. You guys can put a cart together and really get them into that mobile POS space for retail.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you can expand on some of the use cases, or a customer use case where you guys help to solve a particular challenge, outside of retail. Is there an example that you can
Yeah.
point to? And
Well, yeah. In fact, for the audience, if you guys type in Zebra Direct Relief, it's a good joint case study that we both worked on together. Direct Relief is a humanitarian, basically 3PL. They basically handle disaster relief. So if something happens, an earthquake, tornado, they're shipping product out of the West Coast all over the world, and they had static stations, Zebra products. They made them mobile, and now they got 40% out more in 20% less time. Now that may not sound like a lot, but when you're trying to like send food to like Syria, if there's like an earthquake or something, it matters. And the CEO, if you see the video, it's fantastic. It's a great testimonial to both of us and how we co-join our forces here. to really help people in need. And that's very common. And it's just because they were walking before. And then when they stop walking to those fixed stations, they get great gains. It just depends on how much walking they're doing. But it doesn't have to be a big building. It can be a small building as well. Just matters how many trips they're taking.
Oh, that's really amazing. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you can help expand on, some of the things, some of the trends that you're seeing in the warehouse industry, right? So warehouse and manufacturing, I think you said industrial overall. Are there specific trends that are happening now that you guys are taking?
Well, you got automation, of course. I mean, if you've been a ProMat, it's robots all over the place, and you guys are heavily entrenched with Fetch. I was just down in a place in Texas last week, major airline that supplies parts to their aircraft, and they had 10 Fetch robots off to the side, and they're there to eliminate conveyors, right? So, and they invested heavily in a picking module. So warehouses are spending a lot of money on automation. They don't feel like they can rely on labor. You mentioned labor is an issue. Labor has been an issue for a long time, and it's probably never going to get it's never going to get better. So they're investing in automation. Barcoding is part of automation. There are a lot of companies out there, they're still not barcoding, believe it or not. About 30% of warehouses, if you can imagine, are pen and paper, which is crazy. You cannot compete anymore. No way. And then on the print side, which is where we're really heavy, is I see big trend for companies going to cloud-based software. Like, Bartender's got a new product, and it's just it just keeps like an enterprise aligned. It gets their data accurate and validated, and everyone's sharing the correct format. And of course, I think mobility is going to be a big part of it, and we hope to be part of that mobility trend.
That's awesome. Thank you, Kevin, for that. So how do you see Zebra and Newcastle's partnership pivotal to each company's success over the next couple of years?
Well, as I said, I mean, our product it's a cart, and if there's nothing on the cart's useless. I mean, the people can't do much with it. So your technology is critical, and the channel that provides that technology is critical to us, because it's like my boss who owns the company always says, like, no one comes to us to buy tires. They want a car. So we try to provide the most value we can, which includes probably a scanning device, probably a printer. I can see Workstation Connect getting more involved with us. I see us working side by side on the docks with like Fetch Robotics. I see somebody labeling, scanning, printing, building a pallet, but instead of a fork truck, I can sort of see like a Fetch robot taking that pallet back into the warehouse, right? Again, we can't get people to do that anymore, drive the fork truck. So, and then also I'm really intrigued by Zebra's got so much cool technology that we need to leverage more as an IHV. We want to add more value to our customers. So we got to understand the whole Zebra portfolio better to the customers. And that might be analytics, that might be tying into your printers to extract like productivity data. A lot of managers, they just want to know like where the cart is and how many labels people have printed. Because if someone printed 50 and someone printed 500 in the same job, there's probably something going on there, right? So I just think we can help you guys tell that print story. That's my big mantra. I call it lean labeling. It's just very few people look at their labeling process because, let's face it, labeling's been around a long time. And they usually don't look at it until there's a problem. The problem could be they mislabel an entire truckload of ingredients. That's a problem. Or worse, a medical device or automotive part. And if you mislabel an automotive part and you shut the line down, it's really expensive. And what we see is because people batch print when they don't have mobile stations, they inadvertently put the wrong label in the wrong box, and you got a big headache. And that's where I think we can help you guys tell the story of print, and then take advantage of what technology you guys are offering and what's coming down the road.
Yeah, Kevin, that's great. I mean, hopefully you've hashtag lean labeling already. If not, we should do that as part of this episode. You get credit for that. As you're talking through these use cases and really thinking about the outcome that the customer is looking for, our channel partners, as we mentioned earlier, we're both very channel friendly and channel centric organizations. What if our channel partners wanted to reach out to you? How would they get in touch with you or your organization? Is there an easy way to do that?
Just go to newcastlesys.com. I'm up there as like a place where you can reach me. reach out to our distributor Blue Star, or reach out to any one of our hundreds and hundreds of partners, and I'm not hard to find.
Excellent. Well, Kevin, thank
Yeah.
you so much for spending time with us and comparting and sharing information with our audience. I'd like to say thank you for your time as well as you're watching this video. Please check out Newcastle's website. Reach out to Kevin if you guys have some mobility and lean labeling challenges that you guys are looking out there for.